first, let's take a look at the handover that we are getting. Shransi, sixth straight winning day for both S&P and Dow on the Wall Street overnight.
Well, absolutely. A very good morning to you, Kanishka, and that sums it up. That's just about right. When you take a look at the longest winning streak since November that we have at hand, in fact, and you do have the 30 stock Dow, that's the one that climbed 300 points. S&P 500 as well gained just 0.6%, thereabout, sixth straight winning day, like you mentioned. For both of these indexes, the longest since July for the Dow and since November for the S&P 500. So that's the kind of handover that you have at hand. Other than that, there's of course the Nasdaq Composite. That's the one that gained 0.5% as well. And April, of course, has been a rocky month for the markets. You do have Trump's tariffs. In fact, that announcement on April 2nd that set all of these events in motion. About a volatile trading is what you saw coming in after that announcement. But the major averages have been gradually narrowing the month's losses. So consider that. The S&P 500, in fact, briefly entered a bear market territory as well back on April 7th. After that, you did have a little bit of a comeback that we've seen thus far. And it's down just about 0.9% for the month. That's the S&P 500 that I'm talking about. The Dow, of course, on pace for a 3.5% loss in the month of April, and Nasdaq about 0.9% higher. So that largely is the kind of picture that you're looking at as far as the markets are concerned, both on a daily basis and on a monthly basis. But Kanishka, definitely we can't rule out the recovery that we've seen thus far.
Well, absolutely. Well, US stocks have been holding fairly steady. Oil prices have fallen more than 2% yesterday as trade war concerns have dampened demand outlook. Now, Brent crude futures fell by $1.6 or 2.4% to close at $64 per barrel, whereas US WTI crude dropped about 2.6% to settle at $60 per barrel. Now, remember, these moves come as investors brace for OPEC Plus to boost output and worries that US President Donald Trump's tariffs would hit the global economy and slow demand for the fuel. Now, as per a Reuters poll earlier, Trump's aggressive tariffs on imports into the US have made it probable that the global economy will slip into recession this year. Meanwhile, China, which is hit with the steepest tariffs, has responded with its own set of levies against US imports, stoking a trade war between the top two oil-consuming nations. Now, analysts have sharply lowered their oil demand and price forecasts following these developments. In fact, UK oil major BP reported its results yesterday, and a deeper than expected 48% drop in its net profit to $1.4 billion on weaker refining and gas trading. Now, remember, the energy market also awaits earnings from US oil majors ExxonMobil and Chevron this week. On the other hand, as per reports, several members of OPEC Plus are expected to suggest an acceleration of output hikes for a second straight month in June. Now, if you look at gold, on the other hand, it fell nearly 1% on Tuesday as signals of easing US-China trade tensions reduced some safe haven demand. This is while investors wait for key economic data this week to gauge the Federal Reserve's policy outlook. Now, spot gold was down 0.8% at $3,315 an ounce, whereas US gold futures settled 0.4% lower at $3,333. Remember, Trump's administration has eased the effect of auto tariffs by lowering taxes on foreign parts used in US-made cars and making sure imported cars are not hit with multiple tariffs. Now, such developments that hint at softening trade tensions have caused a sell-off in the safe haven gold, a traditional hedge against rising global instabilities, which had risen an unprecedented rally to notch a record high of $3,500 last week.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.